Ryan Brown from J. Ryan Brown Law. Today, we're going to talk about firearm charges. In particular, two of the most common charges that we see, and also two that are kind of confused, and we have a lot of questions about this. Okay, so I want to talk about these two crimes: firearm by a convicted felon, possession of a firearm by a convicted felon, and possession of a firearm during the commission of a felony. So the issue that I see oftentimes is people are charged with firearm during the commission of a felony, and they call me and they're confused, right? They say, hey, look, I'm not a felon. I have a gun license. The gun was registered to me, but I still got charged with a firearm charge. Why is that? Okay, and that's why we're comparing these two crimes. Almost everybody knows that possessing a firearm, if you're a convicted felon, is a crime, right? And to secure a conviction on this, here is what the prosecutors must prove. They must prove that the defendant is either a felon or is on first offender probation, and they must prove they possess the firearm. That's it. So, are you a felon or not? Are you on first offender probation? And was there a gun? This is easy for prosecutors to prove, because if you're a felon, there's a certified conviction in the clerk's office, and if you're on first offender probation, there's a certified plea or jury verdict, sentence, whatever it may, sentencing sheet in the clerk's office. This is what it comes down to: were you actually possessing the firearm or not? Now, the sentencing range for these, for a first conviction, is 1 to 10. A second conviction is 5 to 10. But if the underlying crime that caused you to be a felon or on probation is a forcible felony, then the sentence is 5 years. Okay, so everyone knows that felons can't have guns. This is the one that people don't know about, and the reason that I get calls saying, I was legal to have that gun, it's registered to me, I have a permit, it was in my house, it was in my car, etc. The blue, again, is what prosecutors must prove. They must prove that someone possessed a firearm and that it was during the commission of a felony. Okay, this can be a felony involving drugs, thefts, crimes against people, if someone's entering a car or house, things like that. But there's no requirement that you be a felon. Having a license is not a defense to this. The gun being registered to you or a friend or a family member is not a defense to this. If you are committing a felony or are accused of committing a felony and you have a firearm, then they're going to charge you with this. And let me tell you what I see most often. And the problem is prosecutors in Coweta County, the Coweta Circuit particularly, have pretty much a policy that if a gun's involved, and look, prosecutors shouldn't have policies. That's bad. It takes discretion out of the assistant DA's hands, and elections matter. And an important question to ask prosecutors running for office is, are you going to mandate sentencing recommendations of your assistants? But in Coweta, they're asking for prison time on these firearm cases in the Coweta Circuit, and other counties, vary from county to county on what the typical recommendations are. But the point is, if you're driving down the road on Interstate 85 or I-20 or 285, and an officer stops you, they search your car, and they find 1 ounce of marijuana, okay? That's a felony marijuana possession. And then they find your gun that you carry for personal protection, that you have a concealed carry permit for, that is registered to you, and that has been in your glove box for 5 years and you've never touched it. All of a sudden, you went from simply having felony marijuana possession to having that and firearm during the commission of a felony. And a situation that is bad and unfortunate got much worse, okay? And like we talked about earlier, everyone knows that felons can't have guns. Not everyone knows about this. It's much less known, but it's serious. The sentence is 5 years, right? For a second conviction, it's 10. It's something that is very serious, and it's got to be consecutive to the other sentences. So if you're convicted for that and the marijuana, you've got to have consecutive sentences at that time. So it's very serious. There are defenses that usually relate to the possession of the firearm. And if you know someone's been charged with this or you've been charged with this, please check out our website, jryanbrownlaw.com, or call us or text us at any time, 470-635-1725. That's 470-635-1725.